Hi. This is like the third time I've said hi, but it's the first time I'm continuing on. My name is Ange the Pange on the Daily. I established this video because this whole video account on YouTube because of because I follow Adam the Woo. And as we know, 2 days before Christmas, he passed on supposedly. And I say supposedly because it just doesn't seem real to me. And I kind of want to believe that it's not real. But it's real enough that I know that I need to make a video out of respect and to honor him. I guess what really, I got very depressed this morning. When I first heard, I cried. And I don't cry easily. I lost my mom when I was 14. There isn't a lot. And I say that, when I want to cry, sometimes I do, but when I want to cry, I think to myself, you lost your mom when you were 14. This, whatever it is, it's sad. It's terrible, whatever it is that I'm going through in my life. But I always say to myself, you lost your mom when you were 14. This is nothing compared to that. And really, if you have ever, if you remember being 14, to lose your mom, my mom, that was like losing my twin, who was my best friend. And when I think of that, I mean, it's like, I don't want to say what it is like, but it involves a knife and my heart. I walked around when I was 14 for a year feeling like there was a knife in my heart. That is the kind of pain that I went through. I was also 14 years old when my Aunt Chavella gave me something called the Blue Jean Bible. And it was reading the New Testament that gave me this is not a video about Jesus Christ. This is a video about about how it was announced that Adam the Woo has passed on. But just to finish my thought on that, it was reading that New Testament. It's called the Blue Jean Bible because it's said in it's told in for a teenager to understand. Those are available if any of you out there want to find a New Testament that you want to give or present to your teenager. And that, and then my dad gave me a guitar, and between those two things I got through that kind of pain. So, but in spite of that, I found myself crying just spontaneously without realizing I was even crying. Adam the Woo I say because either the reason I started smiling in the middle of this is because I believe in miracles enough. I'm going to tell you a story. First of all, I love Adam the Woo, and this is horrible news. This is extremely sad news. I love him very much. Everyone does. His entire community loves him. I will tell you after I have to tell you this, which is joyful. I will tell you I had an encounter with him also, and I feel very fortunate to have had that encounter. And as so many of us did, but some of us didn't, and I know that I'm blessed that I had that encounter. So, but first I got to tell you this. Now, just remember that Adam the Woo was the biggest believer in fantasy. He loved Disney like nobody's business. He loved films. He went to places where films were created, be they studios, which he did the studio tours at Universal, which were amazing. Excuse me. They were amazing. He also did, that was a catch in my throat. But he also did, Disney was amazing. He went to film locations for all sorts of things, like Back to the Future. He went to the houses. He tracked down the professor's house and Marty McFly's house, and where the Enchantment Under the Sea prom was staged, and all these things. He went to the Goonies house. He went to the Five Alive house. And then most recently he went to Disney France. But so I'm telling you this because he had a love of fantasy. Now, this is this is what's getting me through this information about Adam having passed on. And take it as you will. I'll tell you one thing before I tell you this also, which is that the evening that I found out about this news, the evening, I had already cried. I had looked at many videos by Justin Scared, by his Jordan Lee, Days with Jordan the Lion, all kinds of people that Scott on Tape, all kinds of people, and I still am going to be looking at so many more. Of course, Venice, who was the first to tell us this news. But so with all of that in mind, now this all started when late in the evening, it was like I walk my dog out late because I feel it's most comfortable for her. I walk her between 11 and, 11's late, but I walk her there, or maybe sometimes even later. I hate to say it, but I do. But the reason I do that is because I get up late, and that way she can have a lazy morning, and, it's not as tough on her bladder in the morning if she goes out really late at night. So that's why I do that. The stick's going down a bit. Okay, so late the night, I was returning with Matilda from her walk, and I think it was like about midnight. And we have a neighbor that his name is his name is immaterial. His first name, I don't even want to tell you his first name because of his privacy. But I will tell you that the month before, the whole month before 12/3, 2025, the whole month before, like a solid month, this man that walked into my elevator the night that I had heard about this news about Adam had been by my apartment manager. He had been announced to us that he had, she called it deceased. I call it passed on or transcended. But she said that he was no longer with us, and she put out somebody else. I don't know, maybe it was somebody else, but I thought it was her or somebody else. Put out a sympathy card, a condolences card on the main table in the outgoing lobby with a pen and everybody signed it. This guy that is my neighbor. That the night that of hearing about Adam's news, which was about a month after this guy's supposed, physical death and transition, he walks into the elevator, or he was at the front door, which is glass, so I could see that it was him. And I looked at him, and he looked at me like, "You gonna let me in?" And so I walked over, and I pushed the thing to open the door. And I said, I was gonna say to him, "We thought you were DEAD." But instead I found myself saying, "Whoa, don't be so blunt with this guy." And instead I said, "We thought you were, where were you? Nobody knew where you were." And he said, "Well, I've been out." And as if nothing had ever happened. And right then and there. Now, I want to tell you also, there's another, I'm not going to mention his name either, but there is a famous person. He is a celebrity. He used to be, he is the one of the guitar players in a band that was in the 60s. I think I can say all of that without giving away who it is. I'm not going to say anything else except that. If anybody else had this experience, please let me know. His Instagram, about 3 months before, for 3 months, at the beginning of that 3 months, there was a condolences to his wife, and there had been a place where you could send money in his name to honor him, you know, a contribution, donation to a cause of his. And all of his wife, or not his wife, but they had put it together for his wife, these people that ran his Instagram account. And then about 3 months after that, there is this picture of him, and you press it, it's a video. And no, that first one was a picture. It was a picture of him. He looked like he was radiant. He looked radiant. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to describe it any further because I don't want to reveal who that is. But he had been announced deceased for 3 months. Then he came back on Instagram saying, "Hi, everybody. You know, I've been gone for a while." And that was all he said. Didn't say, you know, there was a big mix-up, or no, just, "I've been gone for a while, and I hope you all have been okay." And I'm beginning to think, if these things happen, when people return, they just say hi, you know, and things kind of go back to normal. You know, there's a word for this. It's a phenomenon that happens. It's like a parallel something or something like, I don't know, but it happens. And so having said all of that, especially Mike returning at midnight, my neighbor Mike, what if, this is my fantasy that maybe I'm choosing to believe, but what if, to ease my sadness, I don't know why, maybe because it's true, who knows, what if Adam, because we all know he went to France to go to Disney Paris, what if he was still in Europe? And what if, you know, there's like about 100 extra billionaires in the world these days. What if there was a recent billionaire that followed Adam, and he was a fan? And what if he had more money than sense? What if he didn't know what to do with his money? What if he had kind of a pranky kind of sense of humor? And what if, this is what I have devised. Okay, we all know that, and this is all in my head. This is all what I am fantasizing, but so much that, hey, you know, the more I think about it, the more I think, you know, maybe this could be true. Is that, okay, so last we saw Adam, he was in Europe. What if he's still in Europe? What if, now don't get mad at me, because this is also possibly a sounding board that I'm using to get over my grief. So, you know, ignore me if you think, yeah, lady, you know, but if you do think that this is possible, or even just a great thing to think, leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So, when's last we saw Adam? He was still in Europe. What if he's still in Europe? What if there's some billionaire that wanted to play a prank? And I'll tell you why. There's a few things that make me think this is plausible. One is that the day that Venice went there to, because he had plans with Adam, suppose that this billionaire fan called Venice with a voice filter, an AI voice filter, and sounded just like Adam, and said, "Hey, I'm back. Meet me at my house." Now, this does not go, remember, this guy had the best of intentions in this thing that I've come up with. And I don't want to call it a fantasy because suppose it's real. But this place where I'm at. So this guy calls him and says, you know, hey, I'm back. I'm back from, it's me, Adam. I'm back from Paris. And, you know, I feel like going to Disney. I know I just got back. I know I just went to Disney, but I feel like going to Disney. You want to hit the parks? Come on out and we'll hit the parks. So Venice drives out there. He flies out there. He drives out. He's just been out there, but he flies back and he's really looking forward to this. And okay, there's another aspect now. Now this is going to make you think twice. Adam, every time he went out the Orlando airport to go anywhere, he stopped at an art exhibit, and it was called The Traveler. And it was a guy made out of lucite, or to look very, I mean, you go look that up. He looks like a man who is actually, if he didn't have a lucite clear box around him, you might even walk up to him and say, hey, you've been sleeping a long time. Are you okay? He looks like a tourist who is extremely tired from traveling and has just rested. He's just rested with his luggage all around him because he is so tired. He's called the Traveler. There's a lucite box around him. Adam adored him. He stopped and looked at that work of art every time he went anywhere. So suppose that this billionaire trickster who is a fan of Adam's and has now done the call to Venice, then a month ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, hired this artist or an artist like this guy that did The Traveler commissioned him to do a similar piece of Adam the Woo that looked just like Adam the Woo, our Adam, David Adam Williams. And suppose this guy on this day, he staged this whole thing. I'll tell you a couple other reasons why. The police took hours to get there. When they put tape around Adam's house, it said crime scene, okay? This was not, it was not established that it was a crime scene yet. It should have just said police tape or, police investigation. It should not have said crime scene. That's like something you buy at what's it called? Spencer's or the spooky Halloween store. That's that kind of tape that says crime scene is what you buy for your little, yellow tape things that you want to put up to look scary around Halloween. And the guys, the Keystone Cop type guys showed up. I think Venice said like hours. It took them hours to get there. Maybe an hour and a half. Come on. And then also, those were hired. Don't you think maybe those could have been hired actors? And then also, they didn't call the ambulance. So we've got weird tape, took them hours, and then when they showed up, they didn't call the ambulance. Isn't it kind of starting to add up? Also, they told Venice. Now, if this were real cops, wouldn't they have said, if you can get in and try to give him CPR? Not, don't go in, whatever we're telling you to do, don't you go in there. Because if they touched the body, maybe it would feel lucite-esque, perhaps. And this thing that I've been thinking about this. And I am a writer, I do like to write, but also I like to write things where this has, all of these things that I've stated are not fiction. You can go back and look at Venice's especially. These are all facts of what happened, of the scene that day. And they wouldn't let him go in. In fact, when the police finally came, they said, you went in, didn't you? I think they were hoping that he had gone in so they could call this thing the hoax that it could have been. And But Venice said, no, we followed your advice. We did not go in. But, so they did not go in. And then when the police did go in, they did not call an ambulance. They didn't call, and have the ambulance come, and the first responders come out, go up the stairs and try to resuscitate him, check his vitals. It's the first responders, not the police, but the first responders from an ambulance or a fire truck that calls the coroner, not the police. I believe I'm correct about that. So the ambulance was skipped. Getting his vitals was skipped. If the police are fake, are actors, why wouldn't maybe the coroner was fake too? We're talking about a billionaire and how billionaires operate in the real world. Sometimes they don't mean to act entitled. They don't mean to step on laws and things. It's just that they have so much money that kind of becomes commonplace to, oh, but it's me. I can do this. I can do this. I do stuff like this, like that kind of a mindset. Suppose either the billionaire has blocked his phone, but probably by now, Adam knows is going on, of course. Otherwise, he'd come home because his phone's not working or something, or get another phone. But maybe he doesn't know what to do. Maybe he doesn't know what to do. But he'd have to be coming home like in days if for this, I think, for my this theory. I don't think it's a fantasy, because I don't want it to be. I want it to be real. I want Adam to come back. So, but I did become depressed this morning when, one thing, yesterday I read his lovely sister's message to his fans, and that was beautiful. And then this morning, I don't know who it was, but somebody who is a vlogger, he went by early this morning in celebration, and he photographed Adam's home, and everything I don't even want to tell you. Go there and look. All I will tell you is that I am so depressed right now. I thought if I weren't me, I'd be suicidal, because a few other things happened in my life. I have a person that I am very, I look after, and something happened. They did something that made me very sad. And then, so there's that also. And I have a condition with my legs. You should know that. You shouldn't know, but I was in a car accident about 2.5 years ago, and my right leg is kind of messed up. The fine vein networking in it is messed up, and and then my knee on my other leg is messed up. Very, I'm blessed to have legs, believe me, I know. But I was just depressed enough today, and I had been meaning to do a video for Adam. So this is that video, and I do feel better. Thank you for listening. We all miss Adam. We miss the presence of Adam so much. I'm going to say in America, because I want him to be in Europe. I want that he is in Europe. But in any case, him not being out there getting his daily morning piping hot beverage, and us thinking with him, what are we going to do today? What's going to happen today? While we're drinking our piping hot beverage in the morning. My heart is broken. Just that he is taking so long to come back from Europe. And that's what I am saying. I love you all. Thank you for watching this. If you watched this far, God bless you. Thank you. And if you didn't, God bless you. So I think also that this has caused me to decide to, in honor of Adam, make this year a vlogging year. So, I hope you're there with me if you wish to be. And I love you all. We all love you, Adam. Come home soon. And when you do go to heaven, and I go to heaven, I know I will say hello. Bye, everybody.